Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome dear learners. In this video for the subject of education, here the course for which this particular uh, module is intended for is Bachelor's of Education, and this paper which is being covered here in this series of videos is Educational Technology. Here we are going to have a discussion on the forms of educational technology, which is the part of the Introduction to Educational Technology module. This video lecture is recorded by Dr. Iram Khan. The course coordinator and the presenter of this video is Dr. Iram Khan from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. The academic expert or the reviewer of this video is Dr. Savita Kaushal from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. This video is produced under the project DTH Swayam Prabha channels of Ministry of Education, Government of India. Hello dear students. I am Dr. Iram Khan, Assistant Professor at Institute of Advanced Studies in Education, Faculty of Education, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Here we are going to have a discussion on forms of educational technology, and this is the part of the module on Introduction to Educational Technology. First of all, let us see the objectives of this session. We are going to discuss the various forms of educational technology. We are going to describe the various aspects of teaching technology, instructional technology, behavioral technology, and instructional design technology. And this discussion is going to have a sneak peek in all those ways and aspects of the different forms of educational technology. The first thing is that what exactly we mean by the forms of educational technology. We have discussed educational technology, its approaches, the meaning, the definition, and many other aspects related to educational technology in few of the lectures. We have also seen the wide range of scope and applicability in the field of education, of the field of educational technology. So basically, we have gone through a lot when we were discussing about educational technology. We have seen that in the broader sense, it stands for the application of the principles and techniques of science and technology, as well as psychology and pedagogy in the activities of teaching and learning. And once we go ahead and see the results, basically this is a result where we are finding uh, somebody who is going through the various aspects of educational technology to be capable of providing necessary ways and means, theoretical as well as practical. And this is for the sake of improving the processes and products of teaching, learning, and related to both the forms of education, which are formal and the informal education. So with such a broad concept, educational technology has formed its roots and wings in certain distinct aspects and forms in various courses and programs related to the study and application of educational technology. Here we are going to have a discussion on all those forms. These forms, if we want to get them listed, we can list them as the first can be the teaching technology, then we can discuss about the instructional technology, then the behavioral technology, and then instructional design technology. So we are going to discuss all these forms of educational technology in detail one by one. So what is teaching technology, which is considered to be the first form of educational technology? We have already emphasized that teaching technology can be considered to be as a subsystem of educational technology, and it is concerned with the task of systematization of the process of teaching. We can also see it in a way that teaching cannot merely be treated as a sum total of certain teaching skills. Basically, it is very much true that being uh, a skilled person, or being in a skilled job, basically it involves certain specific skills. Yet a mere acquisition of these skills, which are very much essential to have, it does not make an individual a teacher. A teacher has to play the role of a technician by learning the art of science of teaching. In this sense, teaching must be regarded as a technology that a teacher should try to know and practice well, if the teacher wishes to be successful in the job which she is doing, which she is going for. So, like a proper technician, this teacher must be able to do the job which is given to him, the job of a teacher, in a very effective way. So, technical knowledge and skill of task requires that it should be completed with reasonable economy and greater efficiency. If a teacher can teach well with the least efforts resulting into maximum productivity, then this teacher can be thought of utilizing teaching as a technology. The essence of the application of technology lies in getting more and then better output with the least input in terms of time and labor. So if a teacher knows the art and technique, or if the teacher is in a position to make use of the teaching technology in realizing the teaching objectives, this teacher can get more success in the task which she is doing, uh, by giving, or by making least of the efforts. So if a teacher is in a position to make use of technology in teaching, this teacher must be well equipped with the technological skills, which can be listed, and let us just try to list them. So the first skill which is very much required for a teacher to have is the skill of communication or communication skill, which means that we mm, we have to be good in communication, how we are going to explain our things, how we are going to transact our knowledge, uh, like the knowledge which the teacher is trying to impart to the child. And this communication can be verbal, it can be symbolic, it can be any type of. So this is the first and foremost. Then the skill of integration with the students. So integration of interactions, the skill of basically interaction, integrating interaction with the students. So the second one is interaction with the students, how the students are going to get cohesive with the teacher, how the teacher is going to interact in a very proper way so that the task of teaching becomes easier, and whatever transactions are going on in terms of knowledge transfer from one person, the more knowledgeable other, to the students, this interaction is going to be very much helpful. So we can say that communication leads towards interaction, and then interaction, once the interaction happen, the knowledge transaction process becomes easier. The next skill is the skill of making the students to learn and think independently. So this is something which is very important for a teacher, that we have to initiate the thought process, and then once the thought process is initiated, we just have to facilitate whatever is being whatever we are trying them to learn, and then we are trying them to actually comprehend, uh, and then we have to make them a little bit of independence, so that they are not every time dependent on the teacher for getting some answers. They have to go and get all those problems solved, all those things which they want to do. uh, we just have to facilitate, and rest of the things they have to do independently. So this is a skill where the teacher makes the students uh, learning and thinking independently. Then the next skill is the skill of evaluating and reinforcing the students' learning behavior. So every time we do something, we know that what exactly we are doing is right or wrong. So the person introspects, and at times this introspection is only possible if the child has gained all those critical thinking, logical thinking, and those abilities which are transferred to the child by his or her teacher. So this type of evaluation, this type of uh, we can say the reinforcement goes on and on throughout the life. So this is the skill of a teacher, that how the teacher makes a child evaluative, and he or she can make a judgment that what exactly he or she is doing is right or wrong. So the skill of evaluating and reinforcing the students uh, for uh, for the betterment of learning behavior is the other skill which can be listed here in the various skills which come under the category of teaching technology. The next form of educational technology is instructional technology. And as the name suggests, this kind of educational technology is meant for helping the instructor and the learner in the desired instructional task for the realization of the stipulated instructional objectives in a particular teaching learning situation. And if we try to explain this entire thing in very explicit way, we can say that it's a type of technology meant for bringing improvement in the instructional process. So here the term instruction basically stands for a certain type of command meant for getting some specific information, knowledge, and understanding about a particular thing or a system or maybe a process. So it can be different in different cases. So the type of technology which may help the learner and the instructor, and in few of the cases there are a lot of online self-instructional packages which can be taken up, and somebody who is taking the instructional package without the need of any instructor, because every self-instructional package is providing all those instructions on a machine. So a person who is taking it can get the help from the machine itself, so there is no any requirement of instructor in case of these self-instructional packages. So here the learner and the instructor here in this task may be termed as the instructional technology. Here the whatever the task they are doing, the learner and the instructor, they all these tasks can be termed as the instructional technology parts. So instructional technology in this way, we can say that first try to plan what type of instruction and instructional material are needed in a particular teaching learning situation. And then it suggests the ways and means for the utilization of this instructional material for the proper realization of the instructional objectives. So this is something which this instructional technology does. Instructional technology, we can say that in this sense, must be regarded as a subsystem of educational technology that is purely concerned with the process of imparting instructions to the learner for realizing and understanding whatever is happening in the surroundings or in nature. So the cognitive as well as affective domain of the learner's behavior, we can say that almost are neglected in these services provided by instructional technology. So basically everything will be constant. So it is not going to change. The instructions are not going to change once we are because we are not considering the learner's behavior. So everything is pre-constructed in case of instructional technology. So uh, with the provision of self-instructional material through programmed instructional packages, teaching machines and computer-assisted learning, this type of technology makes the learners quite independent in their learning task. So, but though it is not personalized, but still it is very much useful. So here, there is no any need of a tutor or a teacher for carrying out the instructional work and realizing the teaching learning objectives. So everything is pre-planned and very well, you can say that organized in a way that it comes in a packet or it comes with a very kind of structured way, and everybody who is taking can be taking it in the same way, in the similar way. So it's basically it's one size fits for all. So one instructional technology or the self-learning package can be used by many. So the learning task, uh, with the help of essential services provided by the instructional technology, we can say that becomes very simple, systematic and interesting according to the learner's need, abilities, and the pace in which the learner is willing to learn. So it can be managed. It can be managed by the learner because everything is recorded in the machine, and as we want to suppose we want to repeat something, so we can just go and make it repeated, or if we want to skip something, we can make a fast forward and we can skip something. So everything is in the hand of the learner, but everything is actually very much similar, which is provided to every learner. So we can understand it in a way that instructional technology may be defined as a subsystem of educational technology which helps the instructor or the learner to uh, like the learner himself or herself as a part of his or her self-learning or auto instruction by determining the media, methods, and material for the realization of the stipulated instructional objectives in a given teaching learning situation. So this is something which gives a proper definition of instructional technology. And we can say that instructional technology helps the instructor and the learner in the task of instruction and learning in a particular teaching learning situation. So something which is very much mechanical, and if you want to learn something, a skill or something which is related to enhancing knowledge, we can go for a learning package. It provides sufficient information, and it is structured, it is organized, but we cannot expect any sort of personalization because it is being structured much before, and it can be given to all in the same way. So this is somehow those features which can be said as the limitation of instructional technology, but still it is very much useful because it has got very broad perspective and it caters to a large audience. The next one is the behavioral technology. And if we just try to understand what exactly it can be, what exactly may be the part of the ethos of this behavioral technology, we can say that behavior is a collective name of all those activities which are manifested in due course of our life. So therefore, the term human behavior includes all type of cognitive, and affective activities. And when we talk about the study of behavior in the field of psychology, we mean the study of behavior of all living organisms and not merely of human behavior or the human beings. So we can say that behavioral technology as one of the types or the kinds of educational technology which owes its origin to the theory and practice of applied psychology, uh, we can say that in its broad form may be utilized to study and bring modification in the behavior of all living organisms. The different psychologists, if you go and study the different theories which were popularized by Skinner or Piaget or Vygotsky, this behavioral technology will be seen in different ways. This behavioral technology, while making use of the theory of operant conditioning, or maybe classical conditioning and all those things, will bring the desired modifications in the behavior of living organisms. So if we are seeing the Skinner's operant conditioning, where he demonstrated through different experiments that how any type of learning or training can be induced in animals and human beings with the help of behavioral technology, and how the task of shaping the behavior in a desired form and direction can be carried out with the help of means and materials applied by the behavioral technology. So things will be very much clear to us that how the theories work, and with the theories the practical aspect is also taken up hand in hand. So behavioral technology in a broader technical sense may also include behavior modification strategies which are not based on learning principles. Uh, Basically, wherever we are seeing some situations in school situations, the task of behavioral technology has almost become synonymous with the task of behavior analysis and behavior modification carried out through the principles of operant conditioning, where we shape uh, we are actually trying to shape up the desired behavior, and the observational learning where imitation of a model behavior is being taught. So a behavioral technologist try to assess and modify the behavior in terms of both consequences, the both the consequences and the antecedents. What exactly they mean? The consequences are those events that follow behavior, and the antecedents are those events that precede the behavior. So basically they are with this behavioral technology, uh, the behavioral technologies tries to assess and modify the behavior in terms of these two, the consequences and the antecedents. So these antecedents events may be environmental events or cognitive events. And what exactly it means, like in case of cognitive events or the environmental events, we can see that there are a lot of thoughts, attitudes, and the perceptions which come under the category of all those environmental events and cognitive events, and all these are considered to influence the behavior. So these are all responsible for the shaping up of the behavior of a human being or any of the organisms. The next is the instructional design technology. Instruction as a process stands for helping the individual as a learner for achieving the stipulated teaching learning objectives. And we all know that a good instruction is always goal oriented with a specific purpose or purposes, implying that the manner in which a learner is like a learner is actually getting the learning imparted, the instructions are given to him or her. uh, these should always be a well conceived, planned, and effectively controlled phenomenon. So the learning process should always be assisted. It should always be well conceived, planned, and effectively controlled. If the educational technology with one of its various domains, or we can popularly say these domains as forms, which can be considered as instructional design technology, brings out effective instructional designs for improving the process and products of instruction. uh, there are many of those instructional designs which can be considered to be very important, and we can see that in due course of all those things which happened in our past, we can say that lots and lots of complexities in this area of instructional design technology have been simplified, and they are recommended to make strategies and for implementing different type of instructions nowadays to the students. So the term instructional design, in its simple meaning, stands for a laying out, or you can say the layout or plan describing the manner in which an instructional process. What is this? Involving like this is going to involve, the instructional process is going to involve teaching and learning and its instruction and the interaction. basically teaching, learning, and the interaction which is happening between the teacher and the learner. This is something which can be collectively said as the instructional process, and this should be carried out for attainment of the stipulated instructional objectives. And instructional design technology, we can say that in this way should be essentially concerned with the planning, execution, and evaluation of the instructional process for the effective control on the process and products of instruction. Uh, if we try to emphasize on such aspects, we can define instructional design technology as a form or type of technology concerning the application of modern skills and techniques to requirements of education and training. And here by training, we can say the instructions. This includes the facilitation of learning by manipulating of various forms of manipulations of media and methods, and the control of environment in so far as this reflects on learning. So this is something which actually provides a proper definition, and this definition is given by Unwin in 1969. So I'm going to repeat this definition once again, which is given by Unwin. It says that application of modern skills and techniques to requirements of education and training. This includes the facilitation of learning by manipulating or manipulation of media and methods, and the control of environment in so far as this reflects on learning. So this is a typical definition which is given by Unwin for the different forms or types of technology. And here the specific technology for regarding which we are talking about is the instructional design technology. So instructional design technology for exercising such control and manipulation may be seen to adopt a few distinctive approaches, like the systems approach. We have studied the systems approach, and then the cybernetic approach and training psychology for generating effective instructional design with a clear-cut motive of helping the learner and teacher in the attainment of the stipulated instructional objectives. We would be discussing maybe the in the other lessons, in the other lectures, somehow the some of the aspects of these approaches. Some of them are already discussed, and whatever is left will be discussed in the later lectures. So in this way, now we can just try to summarize whatever we have studied in terms of the different forms of educational technology. We have seen that educational technology may also be divided into some specific types or subsystems in relation to its forms and areas of its application, like the teaching technology, instructional technology, behavior technology, and instructional design technology. Teaching technology may be understood as a form or a subsystem of educational technology that may prove beneficial to a teacher for the realization of the teaching objectives in a best possible way by having a minimum input in terms of the time and labor. Then comes the instructional technology. It stands for that form or subsystem of educational technology which helps an instructor or the learners engaged in self-study for doing their respective tasks as effectively as possible with the minimum input of time and labor. Then comes the next one, which is behavior technology. It represents that the specific form or subsystem of educational technology which helps in the modification and shaping of the behavior of a student in the desired direction, form, and shape. After that, we have seen the last form, which is the instructional design technology, which represents the form or subsystem of educational technology that helps in the development of appropriate instructional design for exercising control over the processes and products of instruction. And for the development of the instructional design, this type of technology tries to make use of some specific methods or approaches like the systems approach, cybernetic approach, and training psychology. So in this way, we have seen uh, somehow the various forms of educational technology and their attributes, which are going to make a premise that how the educational technology works, how these different type of forms go hand in hand to make or to shape the educational behavior of a child, or educational success of which this child is going to attain in future. And these all the forms are very much important in terms of educating the child in a very proper way. These are few of those references and the suggested links which were used while the development of this lecture by me, and I recommend all these suggested further links to you all. Also, you can also go ahead and study these books and material to enhance your knowledge and skills. Uh, for this lecture, this much is enough, and we will see each other for another lecture where we are going to discuss some other topic related to the educational technology. Till then, thanks a lot, and bye bye from my side. Thank you. Dear students, you are watching a video which is from Introduction to Educational Technology module, and here in this lecture we discussed about the different forms of educational technology. This video lecture was recorded by faculty at home during the homebound situation of COVID-19 pandemic using minimal technical resources. Technical errors, if any, are unintentional and may please be ignored. For any queries with regard to this lecture or broadcast, kindly send your email to techsupport@dth.ac.in. Thank you so much.